Hi, welcome to Nightly Haven. I'm your host, Nikki, and if you like this spooky, unusual, strange, and spiritual, subscribe, like, and share. This is the channel for you. So tonight, we're stepping into a place where the halls never really fell silent. A place where thousands took their last breath, and some never stopped taking steps. Welcome to Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Fear tingles down your spine and hairs stand on end. Mysteries unknown and tales in the dark. Are you ready? Hello? Louisville's towering monument of sorrow and science, and one of the most paranormally active buildings in the entire world. If these walls could talk, well, rumor says they do. The road leading up to Waverly's is steep, winding, and carved straight into a forest that gets darker with each turn. It's like the trees lean in, whispering warnings you can't quite make out. Your headlights hit the front facade, that massive Gothic building standing like a stone giant watching you approach. 5 stories, over 400 feet long, silhouetted windows like empty eyes. Even if you knew nothing about the building's history, something in your bones knows this place remembers more than it should. The moment you step out of your car, the air changes. It's heavier, thicker, as if the atmosphere hasn't moved since 1935. Before Waverly was a paranormal hotspot, it was a battlefield. In the early 1900s, tuberculosis, the White Plague, ravaged Jefferson County. At the height of it, Louisville had one of the highest TB death rates in the country. People coughed up their lives in slow motion. There was no cure, no antibiotic, and no mercy. Doctors built Waverly Hills on this isolated hill because it was far from the city, far from fear. They needed a place where patients could be treated in quarantine and where the dying wouldn't terrify the living. What started as a 2-story wooden building quickly became a 5-story concrete fortress for the sick. Fresh air, sunlight, open air porches, experimental treatments, that was the medicine back then. Some patients survived, many didn't. Some lingered for years waiting for a lung to heal or a miracle that never came. Now, let's get the big one out of the way. Yes, the infamous body chute is real. Yes, it was used. No, you do not want to go down there alone. Doctors called it the means of convenience. Locals called it the death tunnel. 500-foot concrete hallway sloping deep under the earth, used to discreetly move the dead to the outside world. They didn't want other patients to see the endless stream of deaths and lose hope. At the height of the plague, dozens died per day. Workers loaded the bodies into the pulley and lowered them into the darkness. Families would later pick them up, unaware they took their last journey underground. Today, people who entered the tunnels describe breath on their necks when no one stands behind them, footsteps echoing from the opposite direction, whispers that slide down the walls, and a shadow that follows you up but never comes down. One eyewitness, a retired maintenance worker, said he once saw a full-bodied apparition of a nurse standing at the bottom of the tunnel, her makeup perfect, uniform spotless, and smile wrong. He waved, she didn't move. He blinked, she disappeared. But the smile stayed in the air a moment longer, like it didn't want to leave. If sorrow had an echo, it would live in the children's wing. Not because kids are scary, but because they never got to grow old enough not to be. Here, nurses kept sick children entertained with board games, simple toys, and hope they were too young to question. But the most famous spirit here, a little boy named Timmy, though no one knows if that's really his name. Investigators leave balls in the hallway, watch them move slowly at first, and then with purpose. Some have had balls roll uphill and stayed balanced as if held by tiny, invisible hands. One visitor said she heard giggling in her ear like a child was standing right behind her, and when she turned around, no one was there. But her hair moved as if brushed by a small hand. And get this, people who weren't even investigating, just like walking the halls, reported hearing rubber soles squeaking on the floor like a kid running. But when you look, nothing. Just a long hallway with too many shadows. If Waverly has a heartbeat, it's room 502. But it's not beating right. In 1928, a nurse working on the 5th floor was found hanging from the light fixture in this room. Official cause, suicide. Unofficial rumors, she was pregnant. She wasn't married, and she might have gotten sick herself. Some paranormal investigators say they feel pressure on their throat when they enter the room. Others hear a female voice say, "Get out." A former security guard who worked nights alone swore he saw a woman in white pacing the room through the window, and when he ran upstairs, the door was locked. The room was empty, but the pacing continued for another full minute. Heard, but unseen. Another nurse is said to have thrown herself from the balcony on the same floor, and visitors standing too close have reported feeling pushed. Not shoved, not tripped, pushed, like someone angry doesn't want them there. And the 5th floor? It's just wrong. Every investigator says it. Even skeptics turn cautious. You cannot walk Waverly hallways without feeling watched. Not in a dramatic way, someone is standing there, but you can't see them until they move away. Shadow people, tall, thin figures, are seen walking across the doorways, leaning over railings, or peeking around the corners, and Waverly isn't shy about them. Reports go back decades. One tour guide shared this. He was walking a group through the 3rd floor when he saw a man standing at the very end of the hallway. Tall, solid, harmless looking. The guide asked him to wait, assuming he was a straggler. When the group reached the end of the hall, the man was gone. There was nowhere for him to go. No stairs, no doors, no openings, just a brick wall. Now, unfortunately, we need to talk about the creeper. The one spirit even seasoned ghost hunters refuse to follow. Eyewitnesses' description align almost perfectly. A pitch black mass, crawling on walls, ceilings, and floors. No way. Long limbs, moves unnaturally fast, brings a sense of overwhelming dread. Not sorrow, not fear, but primal animal panic. Definitely demonic, for sure. One investigator, a military man who wasn't easily shaken, said that as soon as he saw the creeper, it felt like something he only felt once before when a mortar hit near him overseas. His words, "Whatever that thing is, it is not from this building." Some say it's a manifestation of suffering. Others say it is something that is fed on the paint here. And some claims it follows groups, crawling just along the edge of their flashlight beams. Always close, never fully seen. One woman fainted after watching it crawl across the ceiling above her. Her camera footage completely dead. Static. Of course. Another eyewitness favorite, the whistler. People claim they hear a whistle. Soft, playful, like someone is trying to get your attention. One investigator said the whistling followed him down the hall, and when he stopped walking, it stopped. And when he turned around, nothing. When he whispered, "Do that again," the whistle came right beside his ear. He ran, he admits it, and he has no shame. The cafeteria is where life briefly felt normal for the patients. Laughter echoed, nurses chatted, trays clattered. Today, the sound is twisted. People hear footsteps, dozens at once, as if the crowd is moving around them. Others hear silverware clinking on empty tables. A man on a private tour claimed he saw a full-bodied apparition of a man in the late 1930s attire sitting at a table with an untouched tray. The spirit looked up, smiled faintly, and vanished like smoke. The rooftop once provided valuable sunlight therapy. Patients were rolled out to bask in the fresh air regardless of the season. Now, visitors report screams above them even on calm nights. One man thought a real woman needed help because he saw a figure in white at the edge of the building. Always a woman in white. When he yelled, "Don't jump!" she stepped off and disappeared before reaching the lower level. His footage caught nothing, but 3 people in his group saw the same thing. Many guests, without knowing each other, describe smelling lilacs, though there is no flowers on the property. Old records mention that nurses wore lilac perfume to mask the odor of illnesses and disinfectant. Some believe the scent is their residual presence. Others think it's a sign a nurse is walking right past you. One of the lesser-known Waverly spirits is a tall, dark figure often seen near dying patients during its hospital days. Nurses documented it as the man in the coat. Now people see it standing in the 5th floor doorways, silent, still, watching. A tour guide said she once saw him on a thermal camera at the end of the hall, a perfect human shape, colder than the air around him. When she turned her head, he wasn't there, but on the camera screen, he still stood. Yeah, no way. I'm out. A woman named Emily visited Waverly with her friends in the late 90s. Her story has remained consistent for 25 years. She walked into a patient's room, dust on the floor, window broken, paint peeling like old scabs. But in the corner, she saw a girl, small, maybe 8 years old, dark hair, bare feet, thin hospital gown. Emily thought she was a lost kid from another group. The girl raised her hands as if to wave, but when Emily lifted her flashlight, there was no one, just a child-sized shadow on the wall that didn't belong to her. A former security guard recalls patrolling the 4th floor when he saw a man at the end of the hall. "Sir, this is a restricted area," he called out. The man turned around. His eyes were pitch black. No whites, no pupils. The guard ran so fast, he quit the next morning. On a televised investigation, a heavy metal door, rusted shut, weighing over 100 pounds, opened on camera. No wind, no strings, no people. Investigators tested it afterwards. It took 2 grown men to move it, but on footage, it looks like it swings with someone using one finger. Now imagine this. You're at Waverly. It's almost 3 a.m., the hour every paranormal investigator secretly hopes for and secretly dreads. The building creaks, something bangs 2 floors above you. A whistle echoes from the children's wing. Your breath fogs the air, but the room is warm. You turn a corner and see a shadow cross the hallway ahead. Not float, not drift, walk like a real person with real weight. You shine your flashlight, empty hallway, then something behind you takes a single step. Just one. Loud enough to be deliberate. You spin around. Nothing. But then a ball rolls out from the dark, stops at your shoe as if someone set it there. You pick it up. It's warm, warm, as if small hands had been holding it just seconds before. This is Waverly. Every shadow has a story, every whisper has a purpose, and every spirit still walks. No way. I'm out. Good night. End of show. But whether Waverly Hills is a place where souls linger or a building that recorded the worst suffering of its time and now plays it back like a broken record, one thing is for certain. You don't leave Waverly. Waverly leaves with you. Even after you drive away, the feeling stays, the weight, the presence, that thought that something is still watching. Because maybe, just maybe, it followed you home. Good night, wanderers. Until the next shadow calls, like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful evening. Night, guys. Bye.